exciting video, and in this video I'm going to be playing Dreams for PS4. Ba-da-da-ba-ba-bow. So the goal is to try and make some games with Kaylee and Kratos tonight. So once they get on, we can start working on some games. We're thinking about making like one game together, but the idea would be that like each person controls like a different aspect of it. Like one person creates like the world, and another person creates the player character, and another person works on like obstacles and enemies and stuff like that. So let's see what all we can get together. Right now I'm going to tell the group I am currently live streaming Dreams. There we go. I'm trying to think about what kind of stuff I want to make. I've been at kind of like a blank, trying to just play around with Dreams beforehand, because we don't really have any direction on what we're going to do. So my mind's like, I should try and make something related to like what our like collaborative game is going to be, but we haven't talked about the collaborative game, so I don't have anything to like base off of. Kaylee said, "Hey yo Kaylee, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? Do you have any discussion topics that I talk about on the stream?" So Kaylee, you mentioned that you'd be interested in working on like the world. Um, I would like Kratos to pick whether or not he would want to work on the player character or the enemies. I'd be fine either way. But yeah, like that's my current thought process. And I feel like all of them kind of have to synergize like a little bit, but it depends on whatever the player character is going to do. I think is going to affect like world design and like enemy design. Is Kratos free? If Kratos isn't free, we could try to still do something similar where we work on like a world and a character, or like a world and an enemy, if you'd be down. What are your thoughts, K-Leg? Speaking of K-Leg, I got a chat from K-Leg earlier. Nice, okay. The chat from Kaylee is more or less just like, hey, I'm excited for Dreams. I'm glad. Yeah. This is vehicles. I haven't really played around with like vehicle stuff. We're just falling eternally. I think that is what's happening. Cool. Kaylee said, I'm trying to think how it'll work. Okay, understandable. Did you make your challenge Greek game something that I could remix? You did. What would I do if I wanted to remix this? Because she mentioned that there were things that she wanted to add to it. Kaylee said, so will we need to establish what type of game it is? Like a platformer, fighting game, story game? That's fair. Like, that makes sense, because that will, like, redefine how we approach certain things. I guess my question would be, what kind of game would you want to work on collaboratively? Right now, I feel very open to whatever. So, like, anything that you or Kratos are like, hey, we want to do, I'm fine with, like, working on that thing. And working on, like, a specific element of that thing, whether it be, like, the world, the player character, or enemy. So I'm, like, open to anything that you want to do. So if you have, like, a vision for, like, what you want, like, the game to be, since right now it's just me and you, feel free to, like, hit me up. Kaylee said it would be cool to make a fighting game. I could make the world, you make one character, and then Kratos make another. Okay. I fuck with that. I think that could be interesting. So I guess since Kratos is currently, like, MIA, what we could do is I could start working on a fighting game character, and then you could start working on the world. Kaylee said, I feel like that would be easier to put together in the end, too. That's true. Okay. Then let's hit it up. I'll start working on a fighting game character. So I've made like a good few fighting game characters in the past. So this sounds like it should be fine. I just need to remember what it's like to make a fighting game character, I guess. So I have a whole bunch of simple fighter stuff that I've made. So let's see. So here are player characters. So here are a bunch of things I've already like finished making in regards to like fighting games. Also, I could send this to you, K-Leg. What? Why can't I send it to a dreamer? Play later or view on dreams.me. Why can't I share a collection with like another person? That's really weird. It's listed, it's not archived. Add a collaborator. It's not really about adding a... Like, I just want it to be able to be where you can see it. I mean, you can see it because it's listed. But I wish I could just send it to you. Because this has, like, all of the fighting game stuff, I think, that I've, like, ever made. But let's see. I don't think I have just a blank puppet. All my stuff is just, like, already pre-made stuff. Here's the controller logic stuff. I think that's all I would pop in. I do have blank puppets. I have ready-made player characters with 2D movement and controller logic. Okay, cool. So here's the player 1 character. Why are they facing that way? Kaylee said, ooh, I could remix one of your fighting games. You definitely could. There'd be nothing wrong with that. I don't see nothing wrong. Yo, with a little remix. Let's see. Rotate him. And now we gotta give him stuff that he can do. Or maybe customize his character. I should customize his character. That'd be cool. Let's see. Ryan said, K is here. Ooh, woo. Yo, Ryan, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? I need to give him a star for a head. I've been thinking about making a character that has a star for a head. So that's what I'm going to do. Kaylee said Ryan is here. Ooga booga. Let's see. So, yeah, I'm in Dreamiverse. So now let's look up star. That's not what I had in mind. Now I'm actually kind of curious how I want to do it. Because before I wanted his whole head to be a star. But I kind of don't mind the idea of the star, like, being on his face like this. It kind of gives me, like, Power Ranger vibes. And I'm like, okay, so would I want to do, like, a Power Ranger thing? Because I could do that. Godzilla said Starhead. Yo, Godzilla, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics that you'd like to talk about on the stream? Yeah, put it on his face. Cool. Let's do a test. Yep, he definitely has a star on his face. So far, so good. Let's see, Blaine said hello. Yo, Blaine's welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics that you'd like to talk about on the stream? Let's see. Let's give his head like a dark black color. And then also let's give him like a metal finish. Not shiny metal, like just metal. There we go. And then I want to give him like a pink or purplish like lower body, like under the neck kind of thing. So let's see. that part. Yeah, like all of that would be like purple. Let's see. So Blaine said, what game are you making? So Kaylee, Kratos, and I are going to try and work on a fighting game is the current plan. Except Kratos is currently MIA. And also we haven't asked Kratos if he'd be down to do a fighting game. But that's the plan. So Kaylee is going to work on like the stage element of it. And I'm currently working on a fighter. And Kratos is going to make a fighter. And then we should be able to have the two fighters fight against each other. Let's see. So that looks pretty alright. Do I want to give it a plastic finish? Maybe a rough finish. I think it already is like a rough finish. I want it to look like something. So that's if you wanted it to look like wax. We can make it look like wax. I'm actually fine with that. Okay. And let's make the arms like a pink color. And maybe they can be like plasticky. Let's see. Ryan said he is like that star guy Saitama punches. I don't recall the star guy that Saitama punches, but I'm glad that you're getting like some familiar vibes from him. Let's see, Blaine said nice. Hey, I'm glad that you're vibing as well, Blaine's. How's everybody doing today? I hope everyone is having a happy, fun day so far. Okay, so then... Oh, wait. I was thinking plastic for the arms. Or maybe give them shiny arms. When you can't tell if it's working. Okay, I see the shine. I see you glistening out here. And then for the lower body, maybe his lower body is like plastic. So let's get all that in. I'm actually going to make his lower body brown. So it's almost like he's wearing like pants. Blaine said, I'm good. How about you? I'm fantastic as always. Thank you for asking. Hey, Kratos just popped in. I just saw him appear on the chat. Let's see. So Godzilla said, I made a bounty hunter in Kinshi. Nice. Tell me more about your bounty hunter, my guy. Okay, and then we're going to make the legs plastic. Plastique. There it is. Kratos said, whoa, how you know I'm here? So I saw you pop up on Facebook Messenger. Yo, Kratos, welcome. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics that you talk about on the stream? Godzilla said he has magic powers. So, Kratos, I asked Kaylee what she wanted to do, and it seems like the game plan is for us to work on a fighting game. Kaylee's going to work on the fighting arena, and you and I are going to each work on a fighter. And then at the end, we're going to just put all the, like, things together and have a fighting game. So if I understand the current game plan, I'm going to make my character player 1. So whoever's player 1 in the fighting game will play as, like, my dude. So you'd have to make your guy a player 2 fighting game character. I have my guy set up for, like, a 2D fighting game. So, like, the characters have, like, limited movement. Like, we're able to run, like, forward and backwards. And attacks will have to be, like, a forward and backwards kind of thing as well. Kratos said time limit. We haven't really discussed a time limit for this kind of game. Like, it seems like we're collaboratively working on a game, and rather than doing a time limit thing, we're just trying to figure out how all these components will work together. So for now, like, no, I don't think we have a time limit or anything like that. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do for this character. Because I'm making an entirely new character. He doesn't even have a name. Excuse me. Kratos said, cool, pulling up dreams now. Ballin'. Boo boo doo doo. Ballin'. Let's see. So Bree got my message. Nice. So, let's see. Kratos said, but what if some abilities require interaction with the logic of the other? I feel like the best way to do something like that would be to not do something like that. I know that sounds weird, but I've made like a whole bunch of fighting game characters. Let me go back to edit mode. For Simple Fighter, and given them like a bunch of different abilities. And it makes it where you can use like any of the Simple Fighter characters against each other, and it's like all fine. You know what I mean? And I think that's probably the easiest way to go about it, because then you can drop them into any fighting game. If they need like super special logic, I think that's where it gets kind of messy. Because then it's like, oh, so everyone they fight has to also have like super special logic. You know what I mean? Let's see. Ryan said, ooh woo. Kaylee said, any theme? Any theme at all. If you look at like the Simple Fighter arenas that I've made, a lot of times I make them based off of the games that we make. So I made one for like Princess Strawberry. I made one for your quarantine game that you made, Kaylee. I made one for your robot game that you're working on. I made one for the Haunted TP Dungeon game that I made. I made one for the Cactus Forest. I made one for the Henshin robot game I made. I made one for Simple Fighter, which is the Graveyard. I made one based off of Seluxus, aka Kratos' Dwagon game. I made one based on my Parthenon game that I made. I made one based off of my Metal Draco Inferno game that I made. I made one based off of an arcade cabinet. That was for the arcade challenge thing that they did. I remember that for Dreams. I made one based off of Thirst Apocalypse, apparently. That's kind of interesting. I don't even remember making that one. I made one based off of, the Cloudmaster tutorial stage. That's kind of cool. I like that. I made one based off of Kratos' Silver RPG. I made one based off of the Dragon Lair. Actually, based off of the Dragon Lair. The fuck? Do I have a game called Dragon Lair? I don't even I don't remember that. I think I do. I think I have a game called Dragon Lair that I made with you guys for a challenge. Like, you can essentially make it anything you want, is what I'm saying, Kaylee. Like, feel free to go crazy. I missed something that Godzilla said. My apologies. It was a longer message, and it's been cut off as more things have come in. Kratos said, cool. I have not yet dabbled in making fighting characters, so this will be fun. Godzilla said, and Vashu wears Mandalorian armor. There's Mandalorian armor in Kenshi. Kratos said, Melody of Memories comes out tomorrow. I may or may not get Melody of Memories. I liked the demo. I got, like, copyright hit because it had music in it. And I'm like, it's a music game. I don't know what I was supposed to do. So I feel like if I got the game, if I streamed it, it could be a thing where it's like, and then no one could watch it because it'll get like claimed. Let's see. Godzilla said, no, I got a mod and it's really cool. Oh, sweet. Let's see. So I'm playing around with this dude. I need to give him abilities. So Kratos, the way that I've been doing the fighting game characters is I've been giving them like one defensive move and one offensive move. So they normally have like one way to attack and one way to defend. I don't remember what the controls normally are. Excuse me. So, I think square is normally to attack. Oh wait, hold on. This is actually a really easy thing to figure out. Like what the controls normally are. Also, get into his puppet logic. There we go. Yeah, so this is player 1 controller logic, health display, controller sensor. Let's see. I'm looking at this as if it's gonna like tell me what it is. What does show like what the fuck the attacks are? Oh wait, this isn't gonna show me shit because I haven't set up attacks on this guy. I would need to put a guy in here and then look at his thing. Now I understand what I should do. player 2. Let's look at Shock. See what his thing was. Kratos said, is there any requirement on number of moves? He said, also, is it a multiplayer thing? He said, how's this going to work otherwise? I've only been able to make local multiplayer fighting games so far, unless they've added online multiplayer to Dreams. Does anyone know if Dreams has online multiplayer yet? What were the controls that I would normally use? When you don't name anything? Cool story, bro. Fuck. I'm pretty sure it was square to attack and triangle to defend. And I'll stand by that, even though I don't remember. But I don't see why I would have set it to be literally anything else. If it is something else for the other characters, that would be interesting. It wouldn't be hard to fix it. But when it comes to required number of moves, I gave everybody an attack move and a defense move. And that's really all you need for like a quote-unquote simple fighter. Because when we go simple, we go bare bones. Like just enough for you to be like, it's a fighting game, I guess. So let's see. I'm thinking about like a temporary invulnerability move for my defense move. So maybe your whole your whole body becomes metal or something. And while you're metal, you don't get hit, like you can't take damage. I don't know how to do that though. I honestly don't know how you would make it where your character is like invulnerable. I know that there are power-ups and stuff in video games that make you invulnerable. Kratos said he'll be right back. See you when you get back, Kratos. Godzilla said I put a picture in the Discord. Ballin'. I just heard the Discord notification. I will check that out momentarily. Right now I'm trying to figure out how I would make like a Colossus-style character. Because it's not the issue of like the idea, it's the issue of like the logic. Because essentially you'd have to make a character who can temporarily not take any damage. I don't know how to do that. I'm curious if there's like another idea I could come up with. I'm thinking about a character who has like a field effect kind of thing. So it's like when they defend the field, it's weird to think about, but when they defend, the field just makes it where any damage they would take, they don't take any damage. And when they attack, it's like a push, like, oh, I knock you away from me and you take damage kind of thing. So Kratos was like, you can turn off the health manager. So let's see. Health display. So the defense button would turn this off and on. Yeah, because it sure does have like a power. That's interesting. I've honestly never fucked with turning it off and on. How simple is it to do something like that? So you would want it to be like a cooldown, like timer thing. Because you wouldn't want the player to just be able to mash and constantly be invulnerable. But just for testing purposes... No, not just for testing purposes. Wait, hold up, did I fuck something up? I don't think I fucked something up. Hold up, just hit undo. Okay, all I did was move the tweak menu, I guess. So, I guess I would need a timer kind of thing. I'm hoping I don't fuck this up. It's highly possible I'll fuck it up. So... So you don't want it to be off by default. It's like I need it to be, you hit the defense button, you take no damage while you're like defending. And then the timer goes off, and then the health manager cuts back on. He said, and a counter. A timer and a counter. Okay. I'm trying to remember how it works to make things. So, this would be the counter. So, counter full. How? I'm trying to figure out how you by default have it on. I think I have an idea. There's like a switch thing that you can have. Is it possible for me to use a switch and then have the buttons work on the switch and the switch is defaulted to on? I just don't remember where switches are. I think they're green. Yeah. So here's like an on-off switch or whatever. So it's still on. That's good. Then you'll hit triangle to do to like essentially work the switch. Doo-doo-doo. So my brain's immediately like, that didn't do shit. Because now it's like, you haven't hit triangle, so the switch is off. Like, it still doesn't default to on. Ah. Also, I'm afraid that what I'm trying to do might be overpowered as well. Like, maybe you shouldn't have a guy who can just turn metal, even if it is only for a few seconds. Because it seems like it could be abused. Excuse me. Because the other defensive moves aren't that good. And I already have a character who has a push-pull thing. Because that's what I did for Silver the Hedgehog. For the Silver RPG that Kratos was making. When I turned him into a fighting game character. Teleporting sounds like it would be interesting. But I think I'm thinking about like kind of overcomplicated stuff for what I want to do. I could temporarily have your speed increased. I'm curious how good of a defense that is to just be fast though. Because there's a difference between, oh, you shot a fireball at me and I like raise a wall in front of me so I don't get hit by the fireball. And a defense where it's like, I just have faster movement speed than other characters. I see how that kind of helps, but it kind of doesn't. Only certain things are even like proximity dodgeable in the first place. It really depends on who you're fighting, I guess. Because if you're in a game where like no one else dashes, like no one else is like super fast, then yeah, I guess so. Like you could kind of as a defense, but only if you're fighting like a melee fighter. It sounds like your defense would be useless against anyone with a projectile. So Kratos is sending something on Facebook Messenger. Because I don't want to do a wall thing. I think I have multiple characters who more or less, in some way or another, create a thing that gets in the way. So it's like I made a shield of some sort. So I'm tired of doing the shield thing. I don't want to do that. Dropping health pickups would be an interesting defensive move. I'm not sure if that's necessarily defense as much as it is, well, it's not even that you don't die. It's that you have, like, the possibility to not die by collecting the health pickup. Like, someone could still kill you before you get the thing. A vampirism thing might be cool. Like, I have a lot of options. So Kratos said, Nick, put a counter attached to an inverter attached to the power of the manager. When triangle's pressed, add 1 to the counter. When counter is full, it will power off the manager. Also have the counter full start a timer. When timer is finished, reset counter. a counter attached to an inverter. The fuck is an inverter? A counter attached to an inverter attached to the manager. An inverter. The fuck is this? So value slider, switch, look cursor, signal generator, impact sensor, laser scope, rotation sensor, angle sensor, movement sensor, grab sensor, controller sensor, wireless receiver, transmitter, tag, trigger zone. So it's not one of the green bitches. What's an inverter? Not gate, XOR gate, OR gate, AND gate, counter, randomizer, selector, exclusive gate, signal manipulator. He said that will make it so that the manager will only turn off when the counter is full. Even when it's full, it's output a signal. He said, oh, it's called a NOT gate. So he said, put a counter attached to an inverter attached to the power thing. So we'll take the counter, put that here. I mean, if the character's broken, we can just ban the character in the future or nerf him, so it's fine. We can start with a broken concept and then make him not broken later. So the inverter is connected to this. Counter full is connected to this. Okay. When triangle's pressed, add 1 to the counter. So go triangle, increase count. When triangle's pressed, add 1 to the counter. When it's full, it'll power off the manager because it'll activate the NOT gate, and then the manager will cut off. He said also have counter full start a timer. So that's when the timer gets put into play. So we're gonna add the timer. Also, all this probably should be logic and a chip. I can move it all into a chip momentarily. But when counter's full, starts timer. Then when timer's finished, should reset count. And then, let's say for like half a second or something, you're like invulnerable. Half a second may be like really long, actually. Like for 0.2 seconds, nobody's fucking with you. So you just can't take damage. And then he said, no restart timer. And then he said, sorry. No restart timer. What? I don't know what he means. Right now with the current logic, it seems like you hit triangle, it fills up the counter causes the NOT gate to cut off the manager. So then the manager's off. Then this timer's clicking when the counter's full, and the timer will always start once the counter fills up. So the timer goes tick, 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 tick. It finishes after like 0.2 seconds. It resets the counter. When the counter's reset, that should change the NOT gate logic. When the NOT gate logic is changed, that should turn on the health manager, right? Like, isn't it like a bada bing, bada boom? Like, oh, we did it at that point? He said instead of start timer, attach it to restart time, or else it'll only work once. Are you sure it'll only work? Like, why would it only work once? Like, if the conditions were met, like, sure, I guess. It's interesting that it's like, are you sure it's reset time? You got me fucked up the way that you, because I'm not sure if that's how that works. Why wouldn't it just do it again? Though then again, if it always plays when you hit play, then why is reset timer a thing would be like a good question. What would you need for the reset? Wait, hold on. couldn't you just have the timer reset itself? So like once the timer finishes, it resets the timer, which isn't the same as starting the timer, I guess. So then it like freshens itself up. So it'll be, you hit triangle, it loads the counter, which triggers the not gate, which turns off the health manager, and starts the timer. Wait, hold up. Did I already say it starts the timer? It got me all fucked up. The timer finishes clicking, it resets itself, and it resets the counter, which resets the not gate, which turns the health manager back on. And he said reset does start the time. Then what's the fucking difference between resetting the timer and playing the timer then? Right? Like what is... I'm trying to figure out a situation where you would need to reset the timer. Because if you reset the counter and then you refill the counter, wouldn't the timer go again? There's an easy way to test this, by the way. Start time. And then I hit triangle. Whoa, shit. I accidentally deleted your whole life, my dude. Start time isn't the same as playtest. We need to go to the mode, not the search menu. We need to go to modes. This is what I meant to do. Start time. Cutting off the health manager just kills you, Kratos. It's not a thing where it's like, aha, and now my health isn't modified. It's like, well, now I'm dead, as far as it's concerned, right? Excuse me, I say that, but then I'm not, like, insta-dying. There's, like, world logic that goes into play. Also, yeah, you have to do, like, weird stuff to get back in. So then you go to play mode. And you go here. Okay. So, now I need to add the world logic. There's a world logic thing. So you have arena logic, the controls display. Controls display is what I should have thrown in there. You have a controls display, the start animation. I think this is like the all-in-one logic. Let's hit play. Okay, so yeah, it's jump, attack, and defend. Okay, it doesn't kill you, I guess. Like, it just says 0 for like a second when you're invulnerable, which is interesting. So now the question would be, how would I test that this is actually, like, making him invulnerable? But see how it's cutting on and off? Like, I'm doing it multiple times. It's not like it's staying 0 or staying 100. And I guess that's 0.2 seconds, because I honestly wouldn't know how long 0.2 seconds is, because that's such a short amount of time. But that's to keep it from being broken. Okay. So let me edit the timer for like a longer amount of time. Like 1 second or some shit. See? It's resetting. Like every time I hit triangle, it's like doing it again. And it waits a second before it does it again. What happens if I spam though? What if I hold it down? Holding it down doesn't do a damn thing. But you can, I guess, as soon as like the 1 second's over, get it to like do it again. Because there's no cooldown. Like there's no like time before you can hit it again. Which I guess is what I kind of would want to add. So he sent me a voice message. Let's play the voice message.
Basically, start timer, starts the timer, it goes to the end of the 0.2 seconds, and it stops.
Alright.
It stops there. Now, at that point, it releases a pulse. That resets the counter. But when you increase the counter again, the timer is already at 2 seconds, so even if you hit play, it's not going to do anything because it already released that pulse. and it's not going to do anything because it's already at its limit. It already released the pulse. Restart timer resets the time and starts it both at the same time. So if you attach it to reset timer, then every single time that it triggers, it'll start from 0 instead of trying to continue when it's already full.
That logic doesn't add up with what we were observing, though. Because with the observed thing, without having to set it to reset timer, we can look at it and see that for 1 second, it's set to like 0, 0. If it was a thing where the timer was already full, you would hit triangle and like nothing would happen, question mark? Like your health manager would just stay off, I guess? Like clearly it's like resetting itself. Or else you wouldn't be able to do the, like exactly for 1 second it stops it thing. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's just not like required to like reset the timer for it. See? Like, I think if we look at it, and it's weird that we can't look at it. It's because it's like the 2D perspective or whatever. I mean, the 2D perspective thing can be fixed. It's because of how I have like the windows turn. But let me turn this window to like face the player or whatever. So then let's take it into the test mode. So when we go into test, okay, triangle, hold on, start time, possess, that's what I need to do. Fuck, camera angles be like, okay, so play mode, edit mode, cool, drag this down. We need to be able to like see the timer for me to like demonstrate the thing. I'll drag it down into the side so we can see it. Okay. So now let's go into modes, test mode, and now possessing. Okay, so when I hit triangle, the timer goes, like for 1 second. And the timer isn't reset, but then if I hit it again, the timer will like play again. Like you don't have to like set it to reset. Kratos said, I get what you're saying now. He said, try seeing if it is full 0.2 seconds on the activations after the first. And he said, increase the timer to 1 second to, and I missed the last thing you said because it like cut you off. But he said, try seeing if it is the full 0.2 seconds on the activations after the first. Seeing if it is the full time after the first time. You can tell that by the animation on the logic piece. So while doing this example, you can see how it's full now, but when we hit play on it, it like starts over. Like it goes from the beginning of the timer back around. Then Ryan said Biwoo. That's new. He's evolved from Iwoo to Biwoo. Let's see. Dad's taken a break from reading Invincible. He started reading another Robert Kirkman book. Kratos said, got it. Okay, ballin'. So now my question would be, I have to